Hello, everybody. So, tonight I'll try to make this a short live because I am also moderating for Mr. Real Estate. So, if you guys just want to watch this on the replay, that's absolutely fine. And if you rather spend some time with Mr. Real Estate or with somebody else, that's absolutely fine as well. So, tonight we're going to talk about the 48 Laws of Power, chapter number 6, which is why this live is going to be relatively quick. And like I said, I also do want to go back to support my big bro, my big little bro, Mr. Real Estate. So, yeah, tonight is chapter 6 of the 48 Laws of Power. Hello, hello, the Dojo of Manhood. How you doing? Hey, OG Patrice. Thank you for being here, guys. So I'm so glad to see you guys here. I hope you find this quick little live interesting. Like I said, I will make it relatively quick. I won't talk too much about it. Um, Especially chapter 6 is relatively short for the 48 laws of power. Okay. So, for those of you who don't know, the 48 Laws of Power is written by Robert Greene. There's been a few different editions of this book. He also wrote the book, The Art of Seduction. So, he's an author that gives basically life counsels and really tries to help people out. Now, I don't know if he's a licensed therapist or sociologist or something of that nature, um, but his books are in that kind of self help, build a better life kind of vein, really trying to get people to think in a different way in order to have a better life for themselves, right? So we did cover the first 5 chapters on previous lives. Now I will try to create a playlist at some point with just my lives of the 48 Laws of Power. So for those of you who missed those ones, you'll be able to watch those. And I hope Dojo of Manhood and Patrice that both of you are doing very well tonight. And thank you for spending a few minutes with me to listen to me drabble on about this book. So I hope you guys, like I said, are enjoying this live. So law number 1 is never outshine the master. So in that chapter, we saw how it's very important to really never put um, too much limelight on yourself when you're around somebody of authority, right? So you have to kind of know your place, right? So if you're dealing with somebody who's your boss or somebody who's royalty or whatever, try not to make sure, try to make sure that you're not outshining them and that you're not outdoing them. They have to really be the focus of your attention and everybody else's attention, right? Which is going to be in the contrary of this chapter, but not for not a full out contradiction, but somewhat of a contradiction, right? So law number 2 is never put too much trust in your friends and learn how to use your enemies. Good to know you're doing very well, Patrice, because I know I've been stressed for the past couple of days. So Friday night, I'm glad it's the end of the week for me and I can sit down and relax and spend some time with you guys, uh, either listening to your streams or having you guys on mine and talking to you guys, right? So, in this chapter, 2 is, of course, to understand that your friends sometimes. You might have that one friend that unfortunately betrays you, right? So you have to be mindful of that. They're friends with you today, but they might not be friends with you tomorrow. And your enemies, they might not always be your enemies, but as long as they're your enemies, use that to your advantage, right? Calculate that in the things that you do and really, have their worry about you as an advantage, right? Law number 3 was conceal your intentions. So here, that chapter was much more about making sure that you remain a mystery, right? You don't tell everybody everything about where you are, who you are, what you plan on doing, right? Which for us YouTubers, as content creators, really, is something that's really difficult because it goes obviously for a lot of us in complete contradiction with what we're told, right? We're told to be very transparent and put everything on the table, right? Tell everybody, blog about it, vlog about it, right? Show everything to everybody at all times, right? But here he's saying, no, no, no. Don't tell everybody everything. Keep some things for yourself, right? Because again, it can be used against you either by your friends that end up turning out as enemies or by your enemies flat out, right? So those things that people hear about you can be used against you. So that's why he's saying, you know what, conceals your intentions. Don't be an open book all the time with everybody everywhere. Okay? So, chapter number 4, always say less than necessary, which is something that I try to learn. I always tell myself 10 less words, 10 less. You don't need so many. It's okay. You don't have to say everything. Sometimes let the people ask you, or you don't have to say a sentence of 30 words, 20 is enough, right? So again, here it's part of that conceal your intentions, right? You don't want people to know everything and everything, right? So if they're not asking you about how was your day, for example, why mention it? Why bring it up, right? Because that sometimes too can lead to more questions, which means revealing your intentions, which means maybe telling, yeah, you I don't really like, or whatever the case might be, right? So again, always say less than necessary. And in a couple of weeks ago, we spoke about law number 5, which is so much depends on reputation. Guard it with your life, right? So here we learned that this is one of the laws that for Robert Greene is vital, right? You do not mess with your reputation. When I got the job that I'm working at right now, the other administrative assistant told me a lot of things about my coworkers, right? So before I even had a chance to meet these individuals, see for myself how these people were, I already had an idea of who I was dealing with. And in two of their situations, it was not a good reputation I was given. So already before even saying hello, my name is, I'm getting a bad input of these people. So before they even know me, I even know them, they're basically starting on the wrong foot with me, right? And that's why it's important to guard your reputation, because who you are in the eyes of your reputation will be oftentimes the things that people will look at you with, right? Those are the glasses that people will see. So are you going to have somebody with rosy colored shades looking at you, or black, right? Are they going to look at you, oh, OG Patrice is a wonderful person. She's a great singer, great entertainer. You're going to love her. She's fantastic. Or is it going to be, oh my God, OG Patrice is this kind of, oh, she's horrible. She's this, she's that, blah, 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 right? So that's why it's important for OG Patrice, if she wants me to be out here, hey, she's wonderful, she's fantastic, she has to make sure to, of course, protect her reputation. Now, of course, I used you, OG Patrice, as an example. We all know you're a wonderful singer and great person, and I highly doubt that there's anybody out there giving you a bad reputation, right? So, today we're going to talk about law number 6, okay? So, it is court attention at all cost. So, like I said, it goes in a bit of contradiction with conceal your intentions, but not quite, right? So, law number 3, it's don't tell people what your plans are, right? Um, while as this, now law number 6 is you want attention, but not on anything and everything yet you do. And like with law number 1, you don't want the attention to be on you when your boss is around, right? You don't want it to be on you when somebody in a higher position of power than you is around and you kind of take the limelight away from them. So you have to be very careful of whose attention you're getting, when, and how, right? You're very welcome, OG Patrice. I'm sure it's very well deserved. So yes, so you do want to be sure that when you court attention, to do it carefully, to do it the right way, so that way you're getting the right attention by the right people at the right moments about the right things. Okay, so unlike the other chapters where you had two examples, one where the person was doing it wrong, and one example where the person was doing it right. In this chapter, you have two examples of people doing the right way. Hello, big time drum. Long time no see. Okay, all that French. You went to Google Translate for that, but it's okay. At least you're trying to greet me in French. And yes, I'm doing very well, and I'm glad that you enjoyed my one little attempt at cooking. I'm not a master chef by any means, but I hope to see you or other individuals who saw me cook my international, world famous French toast. I hope you guys do show me cook, you guys cooking it, and make it a whole thing, right? I hope. So we're going to read the summary because you can technically read very small parts of books that are copyrighted, but you can't go too crazy. So I'll read just the basic summary of it, so that way you guys know a little bit more of what you're getting yourselves into with me tonight. So, court attention at all cost, chapter number 6 is what we're reading tonight, or I read and evaluating with you guys here. So it is, everything is judged by its appearance. What is unseen counts for nothing. Never let yourself get lost in the crowd, then or buried in oblivion. Stand out. Be conspicuous at all cost. Make yourself a magnet for attention by appearing larger, more colorful, more mysterious than the bland and timid masses. Big time. You ask one more time, I won't hesitate to put you on timeout. Alrighty. So we are going to the my critique of uh, this chapter. Okay, so like I was saying before, it has two parts. Normally, it would have, based on the other chapters, normally there should have been one part where it's talking about, or the author, I should say, is talking about somebody that did not obey the law and the consequences of it. And the other part is where somebody did follow the law and they reap the benefit of it. In this case, he has two examples of people that observe the law. The first one is P.T. Barnum, and the second one is a name that most of you should know at this point, is of course Mata Hari. Okay, so we're not going to talk about P.T. Barnum. I have my little. He doesn't exactly have a I don't have a positive view on the man, so I'd rather not give him more attention than what I think he deserves. I think he already got too much when he was alive, let alone now that he's long gone. So we're going to go to the second part, okay, which is, like I said, about Mata Hari. We will now go to her page because some of us will know that name, okay, for different reasons. All right. So as I'm just going to take a little. Okay. So, all right, Mr. Real Estate is seeming to be fine. He doesn't seem to need my intervention. So we're going to go into showing you guys a little bit of some of the Wikipedia page. You guys know how I love Wikipedia. Wikipedia is definitely my BFF. Now, I won't be able to show you guys the entire Wikipedia page because there is one little naughty photo of Mati here. She's she's showing more than what I would show. That's for sure. Um, so we are going to go there. So this is Matahari. Okay. Her real name is Margarita Gertruda MacLeod. I know I messed that up. Okay, and her stage name is Matahari. She was a Dutch exotic dancer, and some of you might know her because she was a spy for Germany in World War One. Now, many believe that she was innocent and that she actually wasn't, but the French army still needed somebody to, hey, we got the bad guy, so let's blame her. And as you can see, well, she met her end by a very gruesome way. She is of Dutch heritage, so she was born in the Netherlands. I'm not even going to try to pronounce this name. Sorry to all my Netherlands fans, if there was any. I am not good with names that are French or English, let alone any ones that are not. And she was, of course, passed away in France, Vincennes, France, Third Republic. Like I said, she's Dutch, and she was an exotic dancer. So basically, she used her beauty and her talents to win herself favors. And apparently, she used that so well that she managed to become a spy. Woo! Spooky stuff, spooky stuff. So, like I said, I won't go too far down into the Wikipedia page because there will be some naughty pictures here. Okay, but I also don't want to, get too much into this because you're here to, here we talk about the 48 laws of power and not the Wikipedia about Margarita Matahari. Okay. So obviously, as you can see, it shows here that how she got married. So she answered an ad, which these days we have enough issues getting married uh, through Match.com or whatever, meeting dates. Imagine you're answering a newspaper ad to find your potential husband. Yeah, I don't excuse me. I don't know if I could do that. I really don't know if I could do that. But I guess in the 1800s, early 1900s, you did what you had to do. And including for this young lady, she basically took her clothes off for money. So hey, again, I don't know if that's the kind of thing I would do, but apparently that's what she did. So I won't go further down. It is interesting. So if anybody wants to learn more about this particular world famous, eh, I won't say that word because it's a little bit naughty for YouTube. This exotic dancer, I'll put that in the link now down in the. There we are. To learn more. It won't be much longer, guys. Here you are. So if you want to learn more about Matahari, go ahead and click the link. Now, why does Robert Greene use her as an example? Because obviously she did not meet a very happy ending. She certainly did not pass away in her sleep in her 90s, right? And that's certainly not the kind of passing that most of us, we want to pass away in our sleep when we're old and gray and have great grandchildren already being planned and all that, right? So he uses her as an example because when her family initially moved to France, she had a shilling to her name. So she was dirt poor. And like many women of that age, it's not like she had a bachelor's degree and in I don't know, nuclear science or something. She wasn't married at the time either. So of course, what is she going to do with for money, right? How is she going to pay her share? How is she going to try to at least have some money in her pocket for food, for lodgings or whatever, right? And yes, she was very beautiful apparently, from the pictures I saw. She's fairly attractive. I mean, she's not what we would call a blonde bombshell today, but she was still pretty decent. And I mean, I could see why men at that time would find her very attractive, right? And because obviously she's from the Netherlands, and this is, we're talking about France. Obviously, the standards of what is beautiful, that exotic beauty, right, will be different. So I could see why maybe for somebody living in France, she might have a look to her that's a bit different from the norm, but she's still just yet one of the many pretty faces, right? So like unlike a lot of the women of the time, rather than just sit on her beauty and hope and pray to God, please let me find a husband, please let my father find me somebody, something. Hello, Think Dragon, how you doing? Thank you for being here. I know I saw you also supporting Black's Tropical Thunder. And boy, yeah, her channel and Blind Guy, his wife, their life, they always make me hungry. They're always talking about food, excuse me, food and drinking. So every time I'm on their channel, I have to make sure, do I have a plate of food? Do I have something to drink? Because or else I'm just gonna be starving. But thank you for being here with me tonight. Tonight I'm reviewing the book 48 Laws of Power. In particular, I'm talking about chapter 6. So hopefully you find this chit chat informative and enjoyable, hopefully. But I'm glad to have you here. Even if you just want to have me in the background playing while you're doing something else, that's absolutely fine. Either way, I'm glad to have your support. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Think Dragon. You're a very kind and generous man. I don't deserve your kindness, but thank you. Very kind of you. So we're gonna get into again. I was talking about Think Dragon, how Matahari. I'm sure you know that name, or at least I hope you know that name. But she was an exotic dancer, woo-hoo-hoo, of the mid 1800s to late 1800s to mid 1900s. Okay, she moved from the Netherlands to France. Okay, and at that time, that's when she became an exotic dancer. Ho ho! But she was later on in her life when World War I came out. She was accused of international espionage. Oh ho! And she met an unpleasant end. Let's put it that way, Think Dragon. Okay? So, in this chapter, Think Dragon, we're talking about it's chapter 6. Let me get back to the. So, it's court attention on all costs. So, I was explaining how Robert Greene, who's the author of this book, how he is using her as an example as to how that is can work for you, right? Because I was saying that Matahari was a very beautiful woman, at least for her time, for her area, right? People found her attractive, but she was one of many young, beautiful women, right? So she figured rather than do like a lot of women who are young and pretty and just let the guy chase me, let my dad find me my husband, right? Because especially if you're a woman of good standing, good stock, right? You don't necessarily have to do a whole lot in order to find a husband. Chances are your father already made arrangements with another family, and by the time you're of legal age, you're off to the wedding and you're good to go, right? But in her case, that wasn't the situation, right? Her family wasn't royal. She wasn't, an aristocrat or what have you. She had to really fight for whatever money she could get for herself, for her family, and the same thing with the rest of her family. So what did she do? She decided, well, look, I'm a pretty face. I'm not a nuclear scientist. I don't know business. I'm not a lawyer. I don't think she could have become a doctor even if she wanted to or had the talents for it, right? So, what did she do? She decided, okay, you know what? Let me use my beauty to my advantage, right? And she figured, well, look, I'm not a great dancer. I don't have years of ballet training, but I know a couple of moves. I've seen certain things be done, right? I've seen how, she's of, Javanese, descent and so forth. So she's traveled a little bit, so enough to see how performances are done in other countries. So she decided, you know what? Let me pretend like I'm this Asian woman, right, from the Far East, and I'll decorate myself. And you might not have seen that photo thing, Dragon, but I went to the Wikipedia page from Matahari, and you saw that she had this Oriental type outfit to dance with. Think of the belly dancing type of outfits, right? So she would basically come out there and sultry and really try to use her beauty and her female ways to entrance the audience, right? And she would like basically do a burlesque show. Let's put it that way. But not just the timid where you're covering some parts, right? She did the full show. Hello, hello, Johnny Small. Thank you for being here. And I'm so glad Think Dragon is looking out for me and sending me a few people to show me some love. Pull up a chair, get some popcorn, something to drink. And I hope you enjoy the show, even if it's just for a few minutes. So, Johnny, we're talking about the book 48 Laws of Power. I'm reviewing chapter 6, which is court attention at all cost, right? So the author Robert Greene is using Matahari like and I hope Johnny, I can return you the favor as well. So do let me know, Johnny or Think Dragon, if Johnny Small, you're going live at any point, there's a playlist or something that you want to watch, let me know. Yes, and Think Dragon, she does look Indian, she does look East Indian, East Asian, I should say. Um, but yeah, and that's what she used in to sort of play in her hands, right, while she was dancing. She made it look, even though she's from the Netherlands, right, she made it look like she was full out Asian, right, and really tried to play into those stereotypes. So because obviously this is France in the early 1900s, uh, the Asian population, it's not exactly booming in the middle of Paris or France or wherever she was in France, right? So she played that into her dancing. So people were curious about her. Who is this exotic dancer who's not only daring to take off her clothes for money, but she's an Asian girl. She's Oriental, like they would say back in the day, right? So she has this a unique look to her. She's doing something that back in the 1900s, you're taking off your clothes in front of people. You're as a woman, you don't do that. Of course not. You know. So this added to the mystery. Who is this woman? How is she daring to do all of these things, right? I'm glad that you're doing great, Johnny. Always good to hear. So yeah, so she used her looks to her advantage, right? She made sure that people came and begged to see her. So, right, she did it in two ways. Like I said, she had that natural look where she was beautiful, she was young, but she was exotic. Not every woman in Paris, in France, looked like her, right? And she knew, look, yeah, there are lots of pretty girls, and yeah, there's probably going to be a handful of them that are exotic as well. That's not going to be enough. So, what did she do? Like I said before, she can't be a doctor, can't be a lawyer, right? She doesn't have the education. And again, this is early 1900s. Women being doctors, being lawyers, that's not exactly, everyday occurrence, right? Now, not to say, being a burlesque dancer was, accepted, but she knew that, hey, this is Paris, this is France. There's certain things that are a little bit more tolerable than others, right? So, she went to a few private establishments, said, hey, made arrangements with them, said, hey, look, I would like to put on this kind of a show, right? We've all heard of the Moulin Rouge, or the Red Windmill, right? Which would be the English translation. So she went to certain places, certain private establishments, and built up a reputation for herself. That plays into one of the chapters we saw earlier, which is, of course, guard your reputation with your life. So the previous chapter. So she built this reputation of being this exotic dancer from Asia, and people just came to her, flocked to her, right? And not just the common folk, people like you and me that, hey, what's going on? What do you mean there's this Asian girl taking off her clothes in front of everybody for money? What is this? What are we talking about, right? Yeah. She's from 100 years ago. Yeah, so she's, this is Matahari was definitely not something yesterday. So when we think of 100 years, yeah, it's this is definitely not somebody that 100 years ago. Think that's basically your grandparents' times, right? Or our grandparents' times. I said like I said that like my grandparents are still 20 or something, but no, this is the time of our grandparents. I know my grandparents, they would not have, this would have shocked them if they knew somebody, let's say next door to them, would have been like taking off their clothes for money for people to see, right? uh okay, so let's see what you're saying, Johnny. Most so okay, you do mostly okay. Good. I'll try to catch up with you. You know how it is with YouTube and everything. So I will note your name down, and in a couple of days, I promise I will come visit you, Johnny, and send you some kiwis and some juice, as they say, right? We all know we have to code switch for our BFF Google. But yeah, I will, like I said, return the favor. So basically, that's how she used her um, her feminine ways to court attention at all costs, right? She really wanted to be sure that she was center of attention no matter what she had to do to get it. Hello, Bernard S. How are you? I hope you're doing well tonight, and I hope you and your family are doing well as well. I believe you have $2, Bernard, and your wife. I hope all of you are doing well. So of course, he does go on. I should say Robert Greene does go on explaining some other um, examples of how to use your reputation and everything else that we saw to really make sure that you garner attention appropriately. Now, like I said before, you want to make sure that you garner attention only when it matters, when it counts, and in the right way. If you're garnishing attention at the cost of a king, of your boss, of somebody in power who could determine a lot of important things for you, you could um, you could meet your ends, and that's what we see ended up costing Matahari at the end, because at some point she was accused of being an international spy working for Germany, right? And at the end of her life, near the end, the last few years, that allure that she had actually started to work against her, because now her reputation isn't of a good girl, right? She's not the woman that's considered high class and high standing. And oh, if she's willing to take off her clothes for money, what else is she willing to do? And of course, even though at the beginning it was fun for her to be courted by people of high power, good standing, people wanted to see the show. At the end, people were like, "Well, we all saw her. We all know what she looked like. We all saw her completely naked. So what's the attraction now, right?" She no longer had that air of mystery. So that's part of the keys to power, as Robert Greene says, is you want to have while you're trying to get people's attention, you still want to maintain an air of mystery. So it goes into that idea as well of what we said before of conceal your intention and always say less than necessary, right? You don't want to show your hand. You don't want to tell everybody everything all the time, right? So keep some things to yourself. And like Maddie, don't Maddie Hari, don't don't get undressed and reveal everything to everybody, right? Um, so it really is something that you have to be careful. Yes, do your best for attention, but make sure that you're not doing it at the cost of everything else. So that's pretty much the grand summary and my thoughts um, of the chapter, right? Now he does have a reversal here, okay? So in some cases, obviously, you do want to, like I said, not have the attention at all. So you do want to make sure that, like I said, if you're dealing with somebody who's has authority over you, like your boss, don't get attention from taken away from them. If you're part of, a royal court, let's say back in the day, or if you're like me, Canadian, and you have to deal with the British family, royal family, I should say, you might want to be careful and of what you say to who, and make sure to mum's the word until the queen talks to you. Okay. So that's pretty much what I want to say about the book, right? I found this chapter pretty interesting. And it's the first chapter that I've read that I was really able to tie into the rest of the chapters. I felt that the other ones kind of felt really more independent than any of the other chapters. That it didn't feel like there was a link to any of them. But this one finally had some stuff where I can finally see like how everything uh was being put together and how everything was connected, right? Um so now, I mean, I'm telling you guys this book. I'm reading this book to you guys, giving you my thoughts, not because I agree with it per se, but I thought, hey, look, it's an easy book to read through, but it also has some interesting points, some good points as well. I do agree with Robert Greene that you do have to protect your reputation. Thank you, Think Dragon. But yes, there is a reason, but I won't get into it right here, right now. But yes, by intention, I have a veil of mystery about the way I look. I'm hoping that my voice will carry my beauty through to you, Think Dragon, and you can imagine how I look through the screen. But yes, I have gone and shown my face on a couple of occasions. There is an interview I did about 2 weeks ago. No, excuse me. um I think it was maybe 5 weeks ago, I believe, where I did show my face, but I did cover it up afterwards, right? Thank you, Blur Effect by YouTube. So I do occasionally show my face, so do pay attention. You never know when you're going to see my face, but don't ask me too many times whether you're going to see my face or not, okay? But anyways, that's pretty much it for me tonight, guys. I did go on a little longer than I was hoping to, but it's absolutely fine. I'm always happy to spend any amount of time talking to you guys. And I hope you guys enjoyed this live. And I hope you guys learned something. For me, these lives is really more of an opportunity to teach you guys a little bit of something, hopefully get you interested in the book that I'm reviewing. So that's why I don't really go in major depth, to talk about everything, and to, spend 3 hours on my thoughts on this one chapter, right? Um, I could technically, but at one point too, I don't want to like just go on and on and on talking to myself about it. So hopefully you guys learned something. Hopefully you guys enjoyed everything. Uh, okay. Oh, John. Okay, you're talking to Johnny. Okay, perfect. And I'm glad that you're paying attention. And I hope, like I said, that you guys are learning. And hopefully you guys decide, to pick up the book. It is an interesting read. Like I said, I wasn't too convinced because when you uh, first, pick up the book 48 Laws of Powers, I'm thinking Machiavelli, right? The prince, right? So I'm thinking, oh, this guy's going to convince us of world domination and we're going to conquer people and take over the planet and all that. And it's like I said, for me so far, a lot of it is common sense stuff and really just being more mindful of how you behave with people and how you interact with people. So it's really, a lot of it can be, relationship advice. It doesn't necessarily have to be about obtaining power per se. So just, things that you can consider in your day to day interactions, right? Am I talking too much, right? Which was one of his. Am I, revealing my, showing my hands too much, which is like conceal your intentions, right? When do I get attention? When do I not get attention, right? So these are some of the things that, look, day to day, um, we all had to learn this at some point, right? I know for some of the things I'm still learning, right? I'm still learning not to talk too much. It's okay to, say less. It's okay. You don't have to say everything, right? So, anyways, that's pretty much what I want to say for tonight, guys. I will go live tomorrow, most likely tomorrow morning, for my movie review. I haven't set the exact time yet, nor which movie I'm going to be reviewing. But I will try to set that up tonight so that you guys, my faithful audience, will hopefully be able to be there with me. But even if you're not and you just catch me on the replay, that's absolutely fine, guys. I don't expect to be the center of attention. Unlike Robert Greene, I don't expect that from you guys. It's nice, but I do realize that this is YouTube and that we all have a billion and one things to do, right? So, and then of course, Sunday, I will continue my quiet reading of Game of Thrones at 9:30. Same thing Tuesday and Thursday. Now, I've moved my French lessons from Sunday night to Monday night. Tuesday night, I will continue my art review series, and we'll see each other next Friday night and Saturday morning for my book and movie reviews, respectively. So I will, over the next hour or so, set up all those lives, and hopefully we'll see each other again, if not in my stream, hopefully in Think Dragon streams, or Johnny Small, or Barnard, or who else? I know we had quite a few people today. Or yes, of course, Big Time Drum and OG Patrice and the Dojo of Manu. I hope to see you guys on one of your videos or lives. Please let me know when you go live if you can. If not, I'll try to catch you guys when I see the notification. So on that note, guys, have a great night. I'm going to support my brother, Mr. Real Estate. And I hope you guys have a great night, a great weekend if we don't see each other. Au revoir. Have a great night. Love you guys. Bye.